I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Well, good evening, people, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. Welcome, welcome. This is the Political Spotlight. It's episode 523, and I am your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. Welcome, welcome. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. It was nice weather. Rained here a little bit. We've not had a lot of rain, and so that's kind of good to see that it's still possible for us to get some rain. Sorry, I was reading a comment that just came into me privately. Hope you guys had a good weekend. It's really just still things have been so strange. I mean, last week was kind of a strange week. It was a 9/11 week, and then everything going on with the political insanity, obviously the crazy murder, and there's just a lot of things going on. There's at the start of the month, there's that weird situation where the Texas cheerleader had a baby, and apparently we don't know yet if the baby was stillborn, and she freaked out and had like a mental break and wrapped the baby in a towel and a trash bag and a bag and put it in a closet, or if she killed the baby and then did all of that. That's insane. There's the situation with the Ukrainian refugee who was on the train and was brutally stabbed in the neck and just flopped in the floor and died, while it took nearly 3 minutes for people who were sitting feet away from her to even act like they were trying to do something. It took almost 2.5 minutes for anyone to even call 911. So that happened. And then the Charlie Kirk thing, obviously, and removing any kind of politics from it, removing anything political. That's just a lot of weirdness to take in. It's a lot of things. It's a lot for the human psyche to see. You hear bad things, bad things go on, but you normally hear about it, you don't see it. I mean, we have the nation as a whole. I mean, I would be very shocked if there's very few people that probably haven't seen one or all of these events, and these were pretty traumatic events, and that does something to people. And it just removing the political, whether you agreed with, Kirk, or you didn't agree with Kirk, or, you're someone who lives a life that you can say that you're happy that he's dead, which is bizarre, or whatever. Remove all that craziness. Just the fact to see something like that, see that is really heavy stuff. And I think people have just been kind of feeling weird. And then there's obviously this heavy feeling that like we're kind of like at this precipice where something is changing. Everyone's like on edge, like what's going to happen next? It seems like everybody's waiting for the next shoe to drop. So it's kind of been a heavy weekend, and everyone I've talked to has kind of been strange on all sides of the political aisle. Even people that aren't political have just kind of been kind of weird. So it's kind of been a heavy weekend. So I hope that with all of that going on, you still manage to somehow have a peaceful weekend and enjoy it. We're getting ready to cook into this next week, and it's going to start busy. We've got a busy tomorrow, meetings almost all day tomorrow. There are then meetings Tuesday, Wednesday. It's a busy political week at the local level, at least here in the state of Indiana, here specifically in East Central Indiana. So we're going to be covering that. And hopefully, I will have some record requests come in. So we'll see what happens. Would ask that if you're watching this, if you get something out of this, if you feel like this is content that you like or that you appreciate, please hit that like button. If you could do that, that would be fantastic. We would love that you do that. It does not cost anything to subscribe. So if you could please consider subscribing to the channel, we would greatly appreciate that as well. Share the show with everyone you know, help spread the word, and all of that would just be absolutely fantastic. I have got to change this color. Stand by. This is the thing that's been driving me crazy. Give me 1 second here. I got to change this. So we did some taping of we did some taping for the new show, the Bilbrey and Clark show this weekend. And so we had some things that were changed, and I need to see here. Let's put up a comment and see if this happened. Oh yeah, look, it looks red now. Good. No, I did not attend the Delaware County Democratic dinner. I'll be honest. You want me to be honest? It's not like something that I wouldn't have attended. I didn't know about it. I didn't hear about it. I hadn't heard about it. I am going to attend the upcoming Lincoln Day dinner for the Delaware County Republican Party. And I would have attended the Delaware County Democratic Party to listen to what was going on, and to kind of get an understanding of where they are and what the local party is pushing. I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of where they stand at the moment, but I would have been interested in going. It doesn't mean I'm Democrat or I support necessarily Democrats or whatever, but I would have definitely went. I didn't know about it. I hadn't heard anything about it. I hadn't seen any kind of I had not seen any kind of advertisements or whatnot. So, I mean, I would say even for someone who's generally heavily involved in this stuff, I didn't know they were having that. So, kind of a strange thing. Hey, number one, we got one thing to say. Happy birthday to Chris. And I want to make sure that that's Chris Bunner. I think it probably is. Celebrated my birthday today. Girls were here yesterday. Happy birthday, Chris Bunner. But we'll come back to Chris Bunner. I want to say, look who is in the comments. It's Karen O is in the comments. So if you are not familiar, if you're new here, you probably don't know Karen's name, Karen O. If you are a longtime viewer, you'll probably recognize that name. Karen O is somebody who has watched since I've been on YouTube, has been in the comments and been watching in the comments. And I've made mention I've made mention over the last several months that, hey, I'm not seeing Karen O in the comments. And I'll be honest. So I have to say this. I have a feeling that Karen O, and please do not take offense to this, I have a feeling that Karen O is older than I am. I have in my mind that Karen is probably somewhere around Chris Bunner's age, maybe Jackie Fisher, somewhere around in there. Okay. And I that's just an assumption I have. I don't know her personally. She's someone here, and the only thing I know of her is her name is Karen O. I have no way to contact any of you. If I don't know you, I have no way to contact you, because when you're commenting, specifically if you're commenting under like I know who I want to meet Kid Rock is. But if I didn't know who I want to meet Kid Rock is, I could click on that name, but it doesn't give you an email or whatever. So there's no way in YouTube to communicate with people. And I don't know who she is personally. I don't know. I would assume her name is Karen something. Oh, maybe O or whatever, or maybe not. I don't know. But I thought, man, I can't get a hold of her. I don't know. And she just disappeared. She went from watching the show religiously, like nightly, for years to just disappearing. And I've mentioned, man, I'm really afraid that something is up. And I'll be honest, I was afraid that, God forbid, maybe she was in a car accident and passed away, or got sick and passed away. And that's something that Kate and I've talked about. I've actually mentioned it live. And it's been on my heart and in my mind several times, but I would talk about it and then I would go on back to life. And Friday, I was sitting there and I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back and I'm going to find one of her other comments in a video, and I'm going to send her, I'm going to tag that comment and post a comment and see if I can get her to respond. And so I did. And it took me a long time, because normally, yes, a young senior. Yes, Jackie, absolutely. Wonderfully young. Hey, I get it 100%. You're mentally and physically, you're probably younger than I am. So I get it. I have no problem with that, Jackie. I get it 100%. To me, old is like 110, 120, I don't consider, I've never, as a teenager, I was not somebody that was like, oh, 60, that's old. I grew up with my family. My parents had me when they were in their early 20s. My grandparents, when I was born, was just 40, so I grew up with my family. My family's always been young. I had people in school when we were in elementary school, whose grandparents were in their 80s. And I was like, what in the world? My grandparents are like 42. You know what I mean? Like, they were young, I would go places with my grandmother and people would think that was my mother, so, but I reached out to Karen. I messaged Karen. It took me a long time, because normally Karen would message in these comments, but wouldn't post under the actual comment. But I knew she had a couple times, so it took me a very long time to go back, and I finally found it, and I sent a message and said, hey, Karen, we miss you. Hope everything's okay. If you see this, I gave her my email, and I said, please get in contact with me. I was so concerned. And you will not understand how excited Rachel and I were taping for the Bilbrey and Clark show on Saturday. And at the very end of the show, I saw that I had an email, and I was so excited, from Karen O. And Karen said she's okay. She had a couple issues and she had been injured, and that she was just kind of, getting back on her feet, and that she missed us. And so, Karen, it's not like you've ever got to watch. You don't ever have to watch. You don't ever have to comment. If you want to watch, if you want to comment, we love that. We hope that you do. And you do you, whatever you need to do. If you got to watch live, if you got to watch on repeat, whatever you got to do, we're happy with. If you got to take time off, my whole concern was I just wanted you to be okay. I didn't want, this is a community. The people that comment here, for the most part, you talk to people night after night after night, and you really get a connection with people. And a lot of times people will come up and approach me and talk to me because they feel like they know me. But the same thing happens from my end, talking to you people in the comments nightly. I feel like I know you guys. So that's that. Kid Rock mentioned Tim Dalton. Tim Dalton does pop in. I have talked to Tim. I talk to Tim privately from time to time. And I think Tim's job doesn't allow him to watch live as much as he would like. He does sometimes. Sometimes you'll notice, like if we do a Friday or Saturday show, he'll tune in, but he watches on repeat a lot. And he will then, instead of like adding into the comments, he will comment to me privately. And so we do talk, and he is okay, and things are okay. So that's good. So I'm good. No, I'm good. Thank you. You can throw that away. What? Yeah, you can give me a water. That's fine. Just one, because I got this. So you'll notice that I am not at the regular studio. I am at the Southern Command out here at my grandparents'. We've got a thing we got to take care of in the morning, and so I figured it would be better to be here tonight, and that way I just didn't have to mess with it as much. No one will see you. Come on, as long as you're not over here, they won't see you. You're good to go. Thank you. So no, I don't need that. I hit it accidentally. So Stumblefoot. So that's that. So I wanted to let me pull up a calendar here and take a look at what's going on. So I wanted to talk this evening. I wanted to let everyone know we've got a Delaware County well, yeah, the third, was that the one that was recorded or not recorded? The Muncie City budget meeting. I can't recall in my mind. Let me go back and look. No, that was the one that we did get recorded. That was the third. And yeah, I will probably. I don't have it up to talk about it this evening, but I will. We will talk about it at some point here in the future, and we will talk about the things that went on there. Yeah, that was what was going on. So yeah, I will get to that, but it'll probably be later this week, because it was an important meeting, and they are officially done with the department heads now in the city of Muncie. Let me make sure if that's correct. Yeah, we're the next time they meet will be not this Tuesday, not 16th, but a week from this Tuesday. The Muncie City Council Finance Committee, which is the whole council, they will meet on Tuesday the 23rd, and at that point they will talk about the whole overall budget. And that meeting is going to be very interesting because I think that meeting is where if they plan to make any reductions, that they will do it. I will be listening to that because I'm interested. I'm specifically interested in what they're going to do or what they don't do, moreover, with the communications director and the deputy controller. And if and when we get to the Monday, October 6th meeting, and the council votes 5-4, 5 Republicans to 4 Democrats, or any other higher number than that, up to 9-0, to pass a budget in which we are funding the deputy controller and the communications director. If we vote and the council votes, and primarily specifically Jerry Dishman and Brandon Garrett have an affirmative vote on keeping the budget as it is with Amber and Wegley funded, I am going to have a major issue with that, and they are going to have to answer a pretty serious question. So we will get to that, and of course, we'll keep a track there. I have also not talked very much about the Delaware County, their budget process. I'll be honest, their budget process is always so convoluted. They go through these meetings that are 4 or 5 days for 10, 12, 13-hour days, 8-hour days, just crazy amounts of information that you've got to kind of suck in and watch and retain and go through and look and see who's telling the truth and who's not telling the truth and who's playing politics and just all the craziness that's going on with that. And I'll be honest, I started that process and then everything happened last week that happened, and I haven't went back to it. I will try to get through that. I think I owe it to you guys, and I will try to get to that before they meet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no, sorry. That's October. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So they meet on the 23rd of September. And I believe, from what I've heard, they're going to try to pass the budget at that meeting. So we will attempt to go through it before the 23rd. Now, I also want to tell you, it's not going to be much of a problem for you guys. I think on Thursday night, Thursday of this week, it will probably be Catherine. I might have Catherine come on and take the show over and have Catherine and Kate do you. Because I'm getting ready to go on a little vacation for a couple of days, and I'm not going to say much more about it until we get back. But I will be gone. I'm probably going to be gone Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then return Sunday. And then I can do the show Sunday evening, but I will not be here for the Thursday show. I won't be here for Thursday night show. So we'll get with Catherine and see if Catherine wants to come on and do a show, or maybe just not cancel it. We'll see what goes on as we get to it, but we'll go through there. So I'll keep you guys posted, but we will be here obviously tonight, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. And then it'll be fun to talk to you about the trip when we get back. So that's going on. So this week, real quick, let me cover this just briefly, and then we'll move into the main. Well, thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. It needs a little bit of I probably need to get it cut here within the next week or two because we are starting to get a little longer. It's been a couple weeks out since my last haircut. Let me pull up this agenda. So tomorrow morning, the Delaware County commissioners will meet. The Randolph County commissioners will meet. I don't know who else. I don't know who else. But I don't have my calendar right in front of me that I need. Where I know somebody sent me. It might be from Friday. Let me go back all the way here. Yeah, right here. Okay. So tomorrow's meeting of the Delaware County Commissioners is going to be an important meeting. This is the meeting in which the commissioners will vote on the Delaware County solar ordinance. So this is it. This is the biggie. This is the meeting. Yeah, you like that? I want it that way or this way or whichever way. Yeah, shoot me a message and we'll have to talk about that and see what goes on. Well, shoot me an email or a Facebook message, and we'll see what we can do. There's just a lot goes on into this. It's not. Listen, it's the amount of messages I get is the thing. It's not that I ever purposefully leave someone out. Sometimes it takes a couple messages, several messages to get in contact with me. Because we've got a lot of things, and it's really just, Kate and I, Brandon helps out doing what he can and messages, but he's got a lot going on, and so there's really just the two of us trying to go through craziness, and so if you've reached out to me and you've not got a message or I've not responded, you got to keep trying. Yes, Karen, that scam is still going on. Isn't it amazing that you can fall off the pig trough, have a head injury, go to Oz in a dream, and come back 6 months later, and it's just like a soap opera. You can watch The Young and the Restless for 5 years straight and be totally in sync with the plot, and Victor Newman's Victor Newman is fighting Jack Abbott over Phyllis. And don't ask why I know those names, but and then you can stop watching for 10 years. And then all of a sudden one day you're home, you're sick from work, and you've dropped the remote off the edge of the couch and you're too lazy to get it, and Young and Restless comes on, and there Victor Newman and Jack Abbott are still fighting over Phyllis. You know what I mean? It's the Delaware County commissioners are hopefully going to wrap up the ordinance issue tomorrow in a way that, and I don't know if you like this or not, people, I find it fantastic. The ordinance that I believe they are voting on tomorrow will essentially kill industrial solar in Delaware County. So I think that's good. So let me go through this agenda here really quickly. They're going to do call to order, pledge of allegiance, roll call, announcements, appointments. They're apparently going to make some appointments to the Board of Health, the Civic Center Authority Board, and the Fair Board. They go in then to tabled business, the solar moratorium, the BW facility maintenance agreement, universal roofing contract. They're going to talk about a property at 613 North Broadway in Albany, property request from Nate Howard from the Muncie Land Bank's going to talk. Delaware County American Tower audit lease amendment request. Kimberly Kutzler, approval of the minutes commissioners meeting from September 2nd, 2025. Presentations, road right-of-way, Ashton Land Surveyors, Delaware County Sheriff's Office Firearms Training Facility, Andrew Payne. Contracts or agreements for approval, strategic energy audit, Stephen Brand. Marathon contract, Stephen Brand. Agreement for tax sale legal services, Brad Polk. He's your treasurer. Ordinances for first reading, there are none. Ordinances for second reading, Ordinance 25-19, an ordinance to amend the ordinance regulation traffic on certain public streets in Delaware County. Ordinance number 25-20 being a resolution of approval to amend the text of the Delaware County Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance regarding solar energy. Resolution for approval. I don't know why that ordinance is being a resolution. I think it's being or I don't know. I'm going to have to look at that, what 2520 is. Resolutions for approval. Resolution 2514, a resolution of Delaware County adopting the Delaware County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan. Old business disbursement request, department heads and elected officials, innkeeper's tax, Kathy Butterfield, Purdue Extension, weekly, monthly, and quarterly reports, payment of claims, $4,292,302.80. Payment of ARP claims, $213,289.60. Payment of payroll for 9/10/2025 is $1,042,481.10. They will then go into public comments. If you want to be, on the agenda, to speak during the public comments ignorantly, you have to be there before the meeting and you have to sign up before the meeting. You can't get there while the meeting's going on and sit down and hope to speak to your elected officials, because Shannon Henry has a brain the size of a penny. So, he doesn't like you. He doesn't like what he does. And he's just there raking in the money. And Stephen Brand and Sherry Riggin, for whatever reason, they won't push back. They won't try to change anything. It just is what it is. So that's that. Then after that, they go to commissioners' comments, and they have Shannon Henry, Stephen Brand, Sherry Riggin, and then they will go into recess. Yeah, he definitely doesn't like listening to you, meaning me. And that's the truth. So that's that. I appreciate Jackie up here has said the Monday noon council meeting was announced at the end of Friday afternoon, the 12th. So the council will apparently be meeting tomorrow. Again, it will be live streamed. They've done a very good job of live streaming. The one thing I'm really disappointed in, I don't understand why this is so hard. Like, for the life of me, I can't understand it. I'm going to actually show you. I'm going to show you. This is so annoying to me. And this is me as kind of an anal weirdo. Like, maybe it doesn't bother anybody else. And I'm sure it doesn't. I know it doesn't. It should. And I think you're all weirdos for not being bothered by this. But I'm going to take you here and show you the where the budget meetings started. Let me. And I really wish they wouldn't call these budget hearings. The hearing implies. The hearing, in my opinion, implies a public hearing where there would be more citizen involvement. I guess they might do that. These are budget meetings. When you have budget hearings, that's really a thing that comes from federal government, from Congress. I don't consider these to be budget hearings. These are budget meetings. So let me see if this is right. So I'll just show you here. This is kind of weird. This is my analness. So it is what it is, but I'll show you here. So it just comes down to my one, that everything looks uniformed and is nice and it makes sense, and it's very simple for people to see and people to read and all of that. So here are the videos. The first meeting was on Wednesday, September 3rd. It says County Council Budget Hearing 2025, Wednesday, September 3rd, morning session. Then it says September 3rd, afternoon session. Then it says afternoon session part 2. And then they apparently had a special meeting. I don't know if that's an actual special meeting or if it's just a budget meeting and they titled it that. Now it does look like they went through and fixed this. So I'm pretty happy. At one point, like, all of them said afternoon session. All of them said afternoon session, even the morning sessions. And I'm like, no, you got to fix that. So it does look like they went through and they fixed this. And for that, I'm very happy. So that's good on them. Winchester did that. When Winchester first started live streaming via YouTube, their first meeting was like Winchester City Council meeting 07, or it would say 7-1-2025. And then their next meeting had the date first, and it was all out of whack, and they spelled out July, and they wrote the date. And I actually called Carrie, and I said, can I ask you a favor? I was like, you don't even have, I was like, who sets these up? She said, Mayor Bob does. And I said, okay, well, please don't tell him I said this. Maybe this could be your idea. But could you please tell him it's very easy. Just get a formula and always label them the same. Like, there's nothing wrong with going in and writing Winchester City Council meeting and then writing the date, 07-01-25. Two dates, two numbers for the month, two numbers for the day, two numbers for the year, and then always do it in that format. And then if it's the Board of Works, write Winchester Board of Works, and then write the date out. And they actually went back and fixed it. So she must have told him, and he did it, and they're doing it. So small little changes where we can get them done. That makes me happy. So we will watch all of that and bring you up to speed with what's going on specifically with the Delaware County budget. We'll do something like that. Probably what I'll do, because I forget the name. Who said, I know the real name, or what I think is the name, but I don't want, Space Cat. Yeah, Space Cat. Space Cat asked about talking about the budget meeting. To be honest with you, I'll probably talk about the Delaware County budget meetings and the city budget meeting. I'll probably do both of those on Sunday the 21st and or Monday the 22nd, ahead of the Delaware County's budget meeting on Tuesday the 23rd and ahead of the Muncie City Council budget meeting on the 23rd. So we'll talk about that on Sunday the 21st and Monday the 22nd. So that's kind of let you know when it's going to happen. Bob is going to go back and fudge them now. Yeah, right. Bob and I had a really good talk, communication the last couple times I've been in Winchester. So I think things are better. At least between he and I for right now, it's always possible to change. I want to go back here and answers. Oh, Catherine said, I thought Stephen Brand was going to do better than King. He does in a lot of ways. It's I won't say I have a love-hate relationship with him because it's not that bad. It's like a love frustration relationship. There's a lot of things that he does that I absolutely love that he does them. And he is better than King. I mean, you basically just needed somebody who could get out of bed and put their jeans on normal, and they were going to be better than King. I mean, King was the scratching the bottom of the barrel so low that he's actually scratched through the barrel, and he's now into the new barrel down below that. And King was so bad. How bad was he? He was so bad. No, he was horrible. So Brand is better than King, but there are just things. Look, it's a politician, man. There are things that he does that annoys the crap out of me because it shows, in my opinion, it shows weakness. Now he's like, well, I'm playing the political game and all that. And that's the reason I don't run. Because I would never play the game that I need to play in order to do what I needed to do to get where I needed to get. It's much better to be in this seat because this seat is the control seat. It's the power seat. We are the boss. So I would much rather be here and instruct the public servants. Absolutely. Good night, Alva. That's exactly right. Bob is just one of those guys you have to sleep with one eye open. That's exactly right. Cat dragged in. I'm going to tell you, King got to where he was by sheer fluke and dumb luck. James King ran in 2008 when Obama was running. He thought he was running for commissioner. He wanted to run for Delaware County commissioner, but he filed for Delaware County council instead. I don't know how you do that, but he did it. And he filed for the at-large position. That's what he was running in. So that means back then we had a lot of people running. We had 3 Democrats that were running for it and 3 Republicans. So you have 6 people running, and what happens is they take the top 3 vote getters. Well, that was the first election of Obama, and voters were lined up around the building, all day, every day. And Obama came in, and James rode his coattails. James was the 3rd lowest vote getter. That means if the Republican behind James would have just got a few more votes, he would have beat James. But James rode Obama's coattails in because all 3 Democrats were elected, and King was elected in that position because of Obama. 4 years later, when he ran, the same thing happened. Obama was running for re-election, and now he wasn't as popular 4 years later, but he still got, he was still reelected, and King once again rode those coattails in. Well, then by that time, the Democrat Party found out that James was a fraud. They found out that he was a lunatic, and they were done with him. They were going to primary him in the 2016 election. And right around the time that the election was heating up, all the news about the FBI investigation dropped on Dennis Tyler, the Democrats, and all of that. And Dennis Tyler's street superintendent, I cannot believe it. It slipped my mind. He's passed away. I'm off screen real quick. Street superintendent. I cannot believe. As soon as I'm going to see it, I'm going to kick me. Duke Campbell. Tyler's street superintendent, Duke Campbell, was going to primary King as a Democrat. And if it would have been a regular election, Duke Campbell would have cleaned King's clock in the primary as a Democrat. So King saw the writing on the wall, and this is the only smart thing he ever did. He didn't, and it wasn't really smart, it was self-preservation. King didn't want to be beaten in the primary. He wanted to have until November. So King flipped parties right then. And he was like, oh, I've seen the light. I'm a Republican now. And for whatever reason, the Republicans accepted him. We were in a real weird time. That was the Republican Party was in a real weird time. They accepted him, and they brought him over. And had it been a regular election, Duke would have beat him as a Democrat if they were in the primary, and Duke would have beat him in a Republican-Democrat runoff. But everything came out about the Tyler FBI investigation, all that stuff, and no Democrats won. The only Democrat that won was the judge, Dunnick. And so everybody else was there. No. Sorry. That was not the city election. It was county election. So Dunnick won after that. But King switched, and so because he was now a Republican, he beat Duke, who was part of the FBI investigation and a Democrat. And so then he got in as a Republican side, and then at that point he's in, because then that's when the time of it doesn't matter who runs, as long as you're a Republican, you win. That type of thing happened, and that's why King was able to write it. King was not a political dynamo. He's not. He's an idiot. He's a dumbass, and so it is what it is. But Brand is better than King. There's things that Brand does I don't like, but he is better than King. I'll say that. Okay, we've been just talking about weird stuff. But I want to talk the theme of the show. The title of the show is "Out of the Box, No Turning Back," and I'm not gonna keep harping on the Charlie Kirk thing, but there's a guy that Cat. It was really strange. There's a guy that I used to be connected with. I used to watch him. He's helped me out when I very first started podcasting and helping me with things and getting me on the network and doing this stuff. He was a libertarian. He is a libertarian. And back then, like, I considered him to be like a right-leaning libertarian. Now he's went the other way. He's still a libertarian, but he's like left-leaning libertarian in my mind. He's not like progressive, but he's just, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just really, his politics are very strange to me now. things that he says and does. It's interesting to look at, but he's been commenting a lot since last Wednesday, and talking about, like, I don't know that things can be, go back to how they were. You always have these situations that happen. Life was like it was, and then Kennedy was killed, and then after Kennedy was killed, things were different. Things were just different. They didn't. They weren't normal. Things didn't go back to how they were. It was a new normal. And then Vietnam happened, and that changed things. Things were changed. The killing of Bobby Kennedy and Martin Luther King, those obviously helped in '68. That helped change things. The Vietnam War helped change things. The end of the end of the Cold War. Things changed. Obviously, 9/11 was a changing, a catalyst that changed things. And anybody that was alive, anybody that was, I'd say 13, 14, 15 and up, knows that there is 1000% Monday, September 10th, 2001 was this. And then by 10:30 on Tuesday, September 11th, 2001, we were now here. There was definitely a difference. And I didn't live through the Kennedy assassination, but I'm willing to bet that, the people that lived through the Kennedy assassination will say that there was definitely, Friday morning, November 22nd, 1963, everybody woke and it was like, okay, it's life is like it is. And then at 12:30, when it was announced, when Cronkite announced it at 1:30, there was now a change. Things were different. And I think that with what happened last Wednesday, I think that that's one of these things. I think things are different. I think that there's definitely a difference in the air. I've heard more people talking about Christianity in a positive way. I've heard more people that I've never heard talk about Christianity. I've seen more people say, yeah, I'm a believer, but I never, whatever, but like, I'm going to church this Sunday, or I'm going to start reading the Bible, or I'm going to start looking into these things. I've heard more people say that in the last week, probably than I ever recall ever in my life. And that's an interesting thing. Whatever the reason is, why ever it happened, and for good or bad, whatever, if that's happening, that's a good thing. That in and of itself would be a good thing. There's definitely a political vibe. They are saying that the numbers for political podcast, specifically conservative podcasts, we're seeing numbers jump up. We've had a large number of we've had subscribers, and I'm seeing different things on the audio podcast and on my X account, and I've had a bunch of new people trying to add me on Facebook. Listen, out there in the world, you send me a friend request and follow me. I have unfortunately reached the point that I cannot accept any more friends. I have too many friends, probably more enemies on Facebook. I cannot accept you, but you can still come to my page, hit the friend request. It will allow you to then follow me, see my postings. My page is wide open. So come, just if you send me a friend request, understand it's not like I'm being an asshole and not accepting you. I can't because I have too many. Now, if I ever see that number drop, I add the next person. It's kind of like the police merit commission. Anytime you have a retirement, they then say, give us the next three names on the list, and then they can pick from the top three. So anytime I drop below the threshold, I say, oh, it's time to go to the friend list, and I add the next person, but that doesn't happen very often. So just FYI. If you want to connect with us on social media, here is our social media stuff. YouTube, there's the YouTube account, there's the Rumble account, Facebook. There's 2 Facebook pages. There's facebook.com/political spotlight 318, and there's facebook.com/Bilbrey 318. The Bilbrey 318 is my personal one, but I use that totally for the podcast political stuff. So go to one or both. I post the same things on both. So there's that. There's the X account, which is x.com/Bilbrey live. So there's that. I don't know. I think we have to look at things. I don't think that we look at things like it's going back in the box. I don't think that we're putting things back in the box. That's not going to happen. It's never happened. I was talking to my mom yesterday, and my mother was like, I think what we need to do is I think that we need to get rid of Fox News, CNN, MSNBC. We need to go back to having a nightly news. We need to have ABC, CBS, NBC. We need to have Walter Cronkite. We need to have, Peter Jennings or whatever. We need to have these people. And what they do is when one guy retires, people put in their application and the best person gets the job, or we hope the best person gets the job. And we need to go back. That she's like, I just think that this 24-hour news cycle, constant news cycle is harmful. And I was like, yeah, but you're wishing for something that's never going to happen. We are never going to, you don't go backwards. It's straightforward. We're running straight forward. And, I think we have to learn to live within where we are. And I feel like I still preach my political message on here strongly, and I will always do this. In the next year, as we move into this next election cycle, we are still going to focus on local stuff. I'm always going to do that, but we are really going to kick into focusing on a state system, because it's going to be, we're going to have local elections, but we're going to have some very important state elections. And we're going to need to watch these. Sorry, 1 second. Give me 10 seconds here. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, I'm back. I passed by numerous churches this morning on my way to the lakes today. All were packed with cars. That says a lot to me with what happened on the 10th with Charlie Kirk. I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be an interesting look. If there's a revival. I've heard for a long time people saying like this country needs a revival, and I know there are people out there saying, "Oh my God, like what?" Folks, I don't know how to tell you. You know it. I mean, it's a light on or a light off. It's a 1 or a 0. It's either, you have to understand. I heard there was a conversation in what I've been watching the last couple days and trying to find out and prove if Charlie said all these horrible things that people are saying he's saying, which I've disproved. Charlie was talking to somebody, and the guy's like, "I'm an atheist," and whatever. And Charlie's like, "But do you hope you're wrong? Do you hope that you're wrong?" And the guy's like, "Nope, no, I don't." And Charlie's like, I don't know. In my mind, that just doesn't make sense. Okay, I can understand saying like, I don't believe in anything. I can't wrap my mind around it. But even people I've heard say that, they're like, I would like to be wrong. I would hope that I'm wrong. It's weird to hear. It's weird for me to hear. Nope. I hope that when I close my eyes and it's out, that it's just done. That is a weird thought to me. I just can't wrap my mind around that. That's a very strange thing. So I think if we see this revival, I think if there is a true revival, I think that would be interesting to see. And the other thing is, I think politically, I'm still going to say, like, we're going to start focusing more on the state level stuff in the next election, because there's some things that really matter that's coming up. We'll obviously focus on the county stuff, but then, to build the channel at some point, I'm looking at this as a progression. We're local. We've been a local for a long time. We're going to start moving into more state. And I've always talked to you guys about wanting to move into a more national feed, at least some days of the week or whatever. And we're just going to slowly do this. But there has to be a major focus on local politics. Nothing is ever going to, I am convinced that nothing will ever be better until or unless we can start putting good people in local seats. Because if we can start putting good people in local seats, those people will, it's just the nature of the beast. They will eventually, some of them will go away, or some of them will stick around in local, but some of those will rise up to the state level. And if we can start doing that, we can start changing things from the bottom up. But in order to do that, people are really going to have to start taking a look at what's going on at their local level. I hear so many people saying, "Oh, that's boring. It's, it doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah." Dude, people are getting on and fighting and wanting to kill each other and kill other people over national politics. But your local politics are what affects you more than anything. It affects you on a daily basis. It affects you week after week, month after month. We have got to start focusing on local elections. We've got to get kids interested in it. We've got to get people interested in helping out, people interested in running. If you go and you want to try to be part of it and you're not given a welcome mat, kick in a door. You don't have to be invited to participate. That's the beauty of this. You can just make your own way, and it's hard, it's difficult, but things in life are difficult. Hard, the good things in life that are worth something, it's a level of difficulty that you have to go through in order to get the good things. And I really think that we have to start getting people more involved with what's going on at the local and the state level. You're fine to worry about what's going on federally. Watch it, debate it, argue it, be involved, understand what's going on, and obviously vote. But we have got to start building our benches. We've got to start building our benches. I'm going to tell you, for you people that are conservatives, for the conservative-minded people, the other side's doing it. The other side's doing it. I'm going to be really interested to see the Delaware County Republican Lincoln Day dinner. I'm going to be really interested to see that dinner and the attendance in that dinner, because one thing I can tell you, I don't know. I've been looking at this to see if this is something that is just like trickery of the camera, the way they took the way they took pictures. But I don't think it is. I'm gonna show this on the screen to you here. Give me a second. I want to show you this the Democrat dinner, which I think was Friday or Saturday night. I don't know exactly what day it was. Because it wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't advertised very well. The Delaware County, the annual Sharp Buy dinner, okay? And I want you to take a look at this, the turnout for this. I want you to take a, what is going on here? Okay, here we go. Okay. Let me put this thing. All right, look at this. I want you to look at this. I want you to look at this turnout here for this dinner. There's Jeff. There's Terry Austin from Madison County. Look at this turnout. I'm telling you, man, there's Allie. He looks rough. I've not seen him in a long time. I'm telling you guys, one thing I can tell you with this new Delaware County Democratic Party is they know how to bring people in. And it might not be your people, it might not be like our people, or my people, or these people, or that people, but it is people, it's bodies, it's warm bodies. And if Tim Overton and the conglomerate of leadership within the Republican Party, between the Tim, Dan, and Stephen Brand deal, the three of them, the Cerberus leadership, if they can't bring people in, I think we might be in trouble here. So a couple of things. Somebody asked, who asked this? What the cat drug in asked at some point. I heard Jeff Robinson is considering throwing his hat in the ring for mayor. He is definitely going to do that. Jeff Robinson is, from everything that I've heard, Robinson is definitely running for re-election, or excuse me, election for mayor. I have heard that 1000%. Now, I'm also going to tell you that Nora is doing everything that she can to jockey herself into a position where she can at some point run for mayor. That is in her cards. That is something that she's going to do. Now, I don't think that she will run against Robinson. I don't think that we will see a Nora Robinson primary. That's just not going to happen. So maybe she doesn't run for mayor this time. Maybe she sets it out again. I mean, but see, this is a weird thing because Nora really wants it, and Nora is jockeying for it. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. Stumblefoot asked if Nora is having second thoughts, or if I thought she's having second thoughts about her party affiliation. And that I will say this. Nora is a political mind. I'm not a fan of Nora. I don't trust Nora. I don't personally like Nora. And I don't believe Muncie will be better off if Nora is mayor. I'm going to tell you right now, if my choices were Dan Ridenour or Nora Powell, I would vote Dan Ridenour. If my choices were Dan Ridenour or Nora Powell, I probably wouldn't vote, but I would begrudgingly want Dan to win. I would be drug kicking and screaming to the side of wanting him to win. I don't want Nora to win. Nora would be a whole nother ball game of weirdness. And it, to me, power in her hands is scary. And unfortunately, I can't say anything more than that, but I'm not excited to see that. I would not be excited to see that. Unfortunately, I don't believe that Jeff can beat Dan. I don't. After seeing what we saw, and listen, I'm going to tell you, Jeff might be poking his head into some Democrat events, but I'm not seeing or hearing Jeff out there. You know, Jeff might come to a meeting every 2 or 3, 4, 5 meetings, but he's been really silent. He's been really silent these last 8 months. And I'll put it this way. If Jeff runs, he will definitely not win. He will definitely not win without Republican votes. And that's not going to happen. I'll tell you, as far as Jeff being progressive or not, on the local level, he's not, because we don't see it, because nothing really happens. But Jeff is a progressive Democrat. Jeff is right there with the progressive thoughts. I'll put it to you this way. For a local office, I would vote for Jeff in areas. I would never vote for Jeff for a state or a national seat, because I just disagree with almost everything Jeff has to say or think on the national level. But on the local level, you know, I could see doing it from time, depending on what he runs on or what he does. I just don't think he can win. I just don't. I just don't think I don't think he can do it because the showing that he did last time just was not good, and the campaign. I mean, the campaign they ran was a horrible campaign. So you know, I don't know. Time will tell. I don't think Nora has been asked to come to the Republican side. James King tried to work a deal out to bring Nora over. There have been talks between Republicans and Nora in the past, probably like 2 years ago. They've wanted her to come to the Republican side, and she turned it down. I don't think that she would do that unless it was her last ditch effort. And then if it was her last ditch effort, then she would do it. She would do it. I think Rainwater's done. I think Rainwater's done. I think he might be interested in talking to people running, and I think he would help. But I think he's done running. I think this last election hurt him in some ways. I think it did some damage to him, unfortunately. As far as the Delaware County Commissioners meeting tomorrow, no, I think it's going to be pretty open and shut. I think the commissioners are going to vote on the ordinance as it's been given. If they don't, it'll be a total shock. That would be a massive shock to me. And I would be absolutely shocked. I don't see anything happening. I think they're going to talk about it. I think they're going to vote on it, and I think they're going to have a lot of hot, mad, gray-haired ladies up that all look alike and all think alike and all speak alike, who are going to get up and be mad at them. But I think that the vote's going to go. I think it'll be a 3-0 vote for the solar ordinance as it stands. I think it's going to be wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I think they want to be done with it as much as the rest of us want to be done with it. But I think it'll be easy. It'll be easily done. Stumblefoot, that is a good question. They've got to, there've got to be some people coming out and having some serious thoughts about different things, and I think elected, I think politicians, I think they need to let us know where they stand. Do they stand with us? Do they stand against it? And a lot of them have in different ways, but we still need to hear from a lot of different people. It's strange to me that Nora didn't attend the dinner, but man, maybe something she had I don't know why she wouldn't have went, but it is what it is. Very strange. Let me look on here or something. Give me a second here. Hold on. What does this say? What does this say? I've had a couple people reach out about a couple of different elected but I want to say again for the record, an elected So first of all, a candidate want, if someone is a first time, sorry, I don't know what happened there. If someone is a first time candidate, they can unblock, they can turn the comments off. They can, I don't know why that keeps happening. They can do whatever they want. It's a bad look, and I always tell candidates, don't be doing that, but they can do whatever they want. Once someone is elected, once they are a public servant that has been elected, they can no longer pick and choose comments. They can turn all the comments on, or they can turn all the comments off. They can't let me comment and not let Kate comment, and let Stumblefoot comment but not let LaRue comment. They have to turn them all on or turn them all off. And it gets a little fishy and a little strange because from comment to comment, they could change. So if they post a comment and they have the comments on, that's okay. And the next comment, they have the comments off. As long as they keep it the same for everyone, they're permitted to do that. It sucks. I hate it. I think that it's my opinion that they shouldn't be able to do that. They should have to have that stuff on. But unfortunately, that's the law. Yeah, it's weird. We're definitely in a weird spot. And I just want everyone to remember, first and foremost, I'm still seeing a lot of people calling for people to like lose jobs and things like that. Like, here's the deal. Here's the way I look at it. If your favorite barista at your coffee shop makes a post and says, I love all Republicans and hate all Democrats, they all deserve to die. You know who that is. You know who the person is. Stay away. Boycott them. Do boycott them. Go about your business. Let them do whatever, whatever. I don't care that much. I mean, if someone wants to turn them in, whatever, that in my opinion, that's too much work. I can't police all the public people. I can't police all the private people. My focus is elected officials, appointed officials, government officials. If there's something that the elected official or appointed official, public servant is saying or doing that is crossing the line, that is out of control, yeah, I'm okay with getting at that. I can't be out here policing every private citizen's thought, nor trying to get them all fired or whatever. Like, I can use my energy is better used elsewhere. Indiana is an at-will state, and the First Amendment doesn't apply to someone who works at McDonald's and they get fired because they say something stupid in the parking lot and their boss says, we don't like that kind of talk here. We don't like that. The First Amendment applies to the government and the citizens. So everyone out there saying First Amendment. Now, I do think that, as Republicans, there have been times that we've said things and whatever. And so I just don't like the pendulum swing thing where it's like, it's good if it's happening because it's on our side, but it's not good if it's I always come back to the whole idea, and it happened bang, bang, back to back. of Scalia dying when Obama was in office, and the Republicans were like, "No, you can't put a new judge on. You got to wait. It's got to wait till the next year when the new president's here." And the Democrats are saying, "Yes, we can do it. He needs to do it. He's got a whole nother year." Da, 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 da. And then immediately, bam, Trump's in office, and RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, dies, and he's wanting to rush to put the person in, and the Republicans were like, yes, do it. And the Democrats were like, no, you can't do it. And I'm like, dude, I want to put all of you in a ship and push it out to sea to never be seen again. I cannot stand that, the pendulum swinging nonsense of it's okay when it's here. So like, let's find a lane and stick in it and go. And so I just want everybody to remember that right now with the talking with First Amendment, with, I don't want anyone's First Amendment rights to be violated by the government. And I don't think that citizens should be running around trying to, like, if you've got someone that says something crazy, if you've got something that you think is a danger, yeah, I'm okay with letting someone know. But saying, I hate John Doe, and I'm glad John Doe's dead. John Doe deserved what he got. That sounds horrible. That's bad. And it lets you know the person saying that is a shitty person, is a shit person, a trash human being, a garbage person. Stay away from that person. But I think that person has a right to feel that way, and that person has a right to say it. It might not be nice, and I don't agree with that. I don't wish death on anybody. And saying, I'm glad someone is dead while it's bad, it's not wishing death on people. You're not saying you wanted him dead. Now, if you say that, that's one thing. But to say, I'm glad X is dead, I'm glad Hitler's dead. Glad Hitler can't kill anyone else. Can't do any more bad stuff. I'm glad. Well, we're okay with saying that. People think that's okay. I'm not okay with Republicans getting all up in the arms and having their panties in a bunch because someone says, I'm glad Charlie Kirk is dead. I don't like that. I think that's bad. I think that's horrible. But I'm not calling for that person to be fired. Now, if someone says, I'm glad he's dead and I can't wait for more. I want to see more. I want to see more blood in the streets. I want to see more people getting it. Okay, maybe we need to look at what's going on. Is this person in a position where they can harm people if they find out somebody is of the other, opinion or other belief? Can they, spit in your food? Can they poison you? Are they pharmacists? Can they give you the wrong medicine? What are these people doing? What can they do? Can they harm you? Can they harm the public? Maybe that's a point there, but that's the other thing. And I'm going to end on this. I heard that South Park is canceling. Well, yeah, clearly they're different, but okay, let's. I'm even saying a drug dealer and Kirk are different. I'm okay. Listen, people have a right to say they think it's okay someone's dead. Saying I'm glad that Charlie Kirk is dead. Dude, that's listen, it goes back to what my dad said a long time ago. You can do anything you want in this world. You just got to be willing to pay the consequences for it. There might be consequences for saying, I'm glad someone's dead. Maybe people don't go visit you. Maybe your business shuts down. Maybe you get fired, whatever. I'm just saying it lets me know that person's a garbage person and I can stay away from that person. But it's the same thing. It's okay. We can't stop someone from being racist. We can't stop someone from being racist, from hating black people or hating Chinese people or hating white people. You can't stop that. And you just know who to stay away from. Go, hello?
I'm with you. But suppose someone gets on their Facebook and posts some kind of rant about, I don't like people of this color.
Okay. I don't
and
like
the
people of
employer
this
sees
color.
it.
Mm-hmm.
The employer has the right to say, you represent
absolutely.
us, and
Sure.
we don't support that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the witch huntiness of this, where
Yeah,
people are actually going and hunting down and sending to employers. But if the employer happens to see it and they don't like it, and they let them go, that's something different.
Yes,
Whereas, and with the way the
100%.
social media has been lately,
and
I
they're
could see
perfectly within their
employers
right to
getting
do
on
that.
there and saying, I'm checking all my employees' stuff because I don't want this representing our company. I could see that, but
there's a lot.
The hunting is the part that kind of troubles me a little bit.
Yeah.
But them being fired for what you say, I mean,
yeah.
You have a right to say
and there's
it,
a lot of
people. You may not like what comes of what you said.
Yeah, right. That's
so
exactly
I think
right.
a better
No, you are. Yeah.
is not saying, I'm glad Hitler's dead. I think comparing it to saying something racial might be
absolutely. No, you're exactly right.
Comparison for you. So
yeah. No, that's
disturb.
Yeah, you're spot on. No, that's right. I appreciate it. I love it. That's great. David, I talked about this the other day. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you weren't on, or I don't know if you saw this or not. But I want to talk about this. So tell me what you're saying as far as the people from Ball State. Tell me what you're saying when you say the folks from Ball State are different. The two teachers, and because we have, I went through their statement the other day. So you're saying they should be fired? Are you saying that the two people from Ball State should be fired? Is that what you're saying? Is that what your claim is? I'm interested in this, and then I'll tell you what my thought is. I'll go over this just real quickly. While I'm waiting for him to say this, I'm hearing that South Park polled. They polled the next couple cartoons that apparently had Charlie Kirk in it, and I don't agree with that. Charlie Kirk loved that he was put in South Park, and he thought it was in good fun. Even if they don't like him, he loved it. He laughed, he joked, he made comments about it. And maybe it's appropriate to pull it just because of the timing, but I hope that at some point they do share those, because Charlie Kirk liked it. And Charlie Kirk definitely understood that, you gotta be able to laugh and joke and make fun of yourself. And, he liked it. So I hope at some point maybe it was the right thing to pull it right now just because of everything going on. But I hope at some point in the future they will air those episodes. Okay, so David says they have the freedom of speech 100%, but if they're using their platform to say it, that's completely different. I guess it depends. So first of all, I want to make sure that we are clear with what these teachers have said. Okay, I feel like it's very important for us to have that. So the teachers, the first one, the lady that was the director of health promotion and advocacy, she says, and I want you to listen to this, her comments that everybody are up in arms about. She says, let me be clear. If you think Charlie Kirk was a wonderful person, we can't be friends. Okay, that statement, first off, that statement is okay. She can think that. You don't have to be friends with anybody you don't want to be friends with, and you can let people know that. So that's not a bad statement. Her next sentence, His death is a tragedy, and I can and do feel for his wife and children. Okay. There she aligns right with me. His death is a tragedy, and I do feel for his wife and children. She goes on to say, I believe in the resurrection, and while it's difficult, I can and do pray for his soul. All right. I too believe in the resurrection, so she agrees with me. And there are people that I find it difficult to pray for, but I still do. So she's saying that. That's not bad. She then goes on to say, Charlie Kirk's death is a reflection of the violence, fear, and hatred he sowed. Okay. I don't agree with that, but she has a right to say or feel like that. You can say, I think that the way this person lived, I think that their death was a result of the way they lived. I don't have to agree with that, but she has a right to say it. She's not saying I want him to die, or I think he should die, or I'm glad he's dead. She's saying I just feel like it's a way that he lived hastened his death. She goes on to say it does not excuse his death, and it's a sad truth. The shooting is a tragedy, and I can and do feel for the college campus experiencing the active shooter situation. The deaths of Melissa and Mark Hortman and the children shot and killed in Minneapolis last month and the children shot in Colorado today are all tragedies that also deserve your attention. Yeah, I agree. Charlie Kirk excused the deaths of children in the name of the Second Amendment. Okay, that's just not technically a true statement. That is not true. There's more nuance to it, but she can feel that way. You can't get mad at someone for being wrong. People can be wrong. And if she feels that way, I just don't think she said, but the other thing is she said that on her private Facebook page on her own time. She didn't post it to the Ball State's website. She's not, so far that I've heard, been accused of saying it in a classroom. I don't even think she's a professor. She's a director of health promotions. So I don't think that she engages students the way that a professor would. So in my opinion, she doesn't lose her job. I don't think she loses her job. The next person, the assistant lecturer, elementary education. Now, this would be a professor. This would be someone that would engage with students. Let's hear what she says. Feels like karma paid a visit. That sounds hateful. And I don't like it, and I don't agree. But I think she has a right and a freedom to say or think that. I mean, he condoned killing immigrants and trans people, which he didn't. That's wrong. He was quoted as saying mass shootings are the process you pay for the Second Amendment, which is wrong. And for what it's worth, and it was worth it. Don't go clutching your pearls. What the hell do you people expect? This is the beginning of the darkest period in our country's history. We have a rapist dictator and Christian Taliban of white nationalists. Seriously, read the effing room. Okay, again, she's out of her mind, and I think she's wrong in a lot of ways, but she's saying this on her private page, not on school time. And again, I just don't think that I've just not been up in arms for those people who lose their jobs. If Ball State wants to get rid of them because they don't like it, but Ball State has said, they've said this off campus. This is not what we condone. Whether they do or not, I don't know, but they said this is, their private thoughts said off campus. And that's that. So, I don't know. You have to stand up for the things that you don't like, or it doesn't matter. And that's where I am with that. I've been arrested. Freedom has been taken because of words that I used. And so I have to speak up for people. Justice is justice. I think there's a double standard, Chris, because any white guy that would have said that about George Floyd and his lifestyle, his life was going to end too, well, and I would have stood for those people too. I wouldn't have thought that. I mean, look, I've seen people who write, George Floyd still sober after 6 years or whatever. I've seen people say some pretty gnarly things, whether you agree or disagree or whatever with Charlie or with George Floyd or the way that he lived his life, just the way that people talk about humans. And I've not seen those people be terminated. I'm sure there's been people that went after them, but I would fight it on both sides. But as her employer and her employers find it through the taxpayers, we have every right to ask for her removal. Yeah, sure. You have the First Amendment right to ask for her removal. I'm just saying I'm not doing it because I don't think there's better use of my time. There's better use of my time. Is I guess what I'm saying. That's why I'm not specifically doing it, because first of all, I like the fact that people have the right to be garbage human beings. I like that people have the right to be garbage human beings, because if someone has the right to be a garbage human being, then I have the right to be a good human being. Or I have the right, if you have the right to say any of your nonsense, then I have a right to say my nonsense. And that's the way I have to look at it. I want to be free to say what I want to say. And again, the only thing that the First Amendment does is protect you from the government. Her employers can let her go if they want, or not let them go, or whatever. That's on them. And people have the right to call for the removal if they feel like that's a good use of their time. I just feel like maybe there's better use of our time. Maybe living a way that shows these people are wrong, or blah, 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 whatever. So that's that. Was there another comment there? Again, I really want to say happy birthday to Chris Bunner. Happy birthday, Chris. I did not know your birthday was yesterday. I wasn't on social media if it was there. So happy birthday. Hope it was great. I want to thank you for being here and watching and sharing your day with us. Happy birthday to you. Thank you to all of you. Let's see here. I'm with you on the First Amendment. I just think these people need to be held accountable, because we're talking about an assassination. We are talking about an assassination. Yeah, we are talking about an assassination. Let me tell you, I'm going to tell you this. And this is going to shock people. This is just how First Amendment. I'm okay with, now, understand, listen to the whole thing. Don't just freak out when you hear me say the first couple of words. I feel like people have a right in protest and display to burn the flag. It's a horrible thing. I think that you have to be prepared for the consequences that come. And I feel like you're probably going to end up on the wrong end of someone punching you or trying to stop you. I don't think that I think that, listen, it's just like the whole idea of art being edgy and people doing things and journalism and art and whatever. And the whole idea of the art piece, the Piss Christ, if you've ever heard of this, and it's the crucifix that's got Jesus on the crucifix dumped in a clear bucket of human urine, or it might be cow urine. I don't know what the deal is. And everyone's like, oh, but you know what I mean? Like, look, if you can't I stand by people's right to expression. And if I don't stand by this expression, then I have to shut up, shut my show down, and stop talking. Let me see. What's the difference in what the women said and what Stephen is? Well, I'm going to tell you, no, dude, you're smarter than that. The difference between what those women said and what Stephen Knipp said was Stephen Knipp called, first of all, Stephen Knipp is a public servant. He was appointed to be a representative of the city of Muncie. He's a public servant. It's one step below an elected official. He's an appointed official of the city of Muncie. So that's a different thing than a professor from Ball State University. To me, the jobs are different. Second of all, he called for more violence. If Stephen Knipp would have simply said he got what he deserved, I wouldn't have liked it, but people can feel that way. What Stephen Knipp did was called for more violence. Stephen Knipp said, I hope he's only the first, or not the first, or whatever he said. I hope there's more to come. I hope he's only the first of many. So he's calling for more violence. He's saying he got what he deserved, and I hope there are more. Something to that effect is what he was getting at. So that means we have an appointed official actually saying he hopes that more people on this side of the political spectrum end up dead. That's a big difference between what these ladies said. These ladies simply said they didn't like Charlie Kirk. There's a difference. They are allowed to like and dislike whoever they want. There's a major difference between Stephen Knipp, who said he deserved this, and I hope he's only the first. That is calling specifically for violence. That's a big deal. These other ladies are saying his death is a tragedy, and I can and do feel for his wife and children. I believe in the resurrection, and while it's difficult, I pray for his soul. I hate that this happened. I hate that this tragedy affected the people that saw it on the college campus and they experienced the active shooter. Hell, she's saying everything we're saying. And then on top of that, she says, if you think he's a good person and we can't be friends, well, that's okay. Charlie Kirk's death is a reflection of the violence and fear that he sowed. Charlie Kirk excused the deaths of children in the name of the Second Amendment. Those are dumb thoughts, but she's allowed to say them. Wildly different than Stephen Knipp. If someone is actively calling for violence, that's another level. Period. And saying Ball State's never fired a whack job professor, I don't know. I get it. I get it. Both are funded by taxpayers. I don't care that Stephen Knipp, first of all, Stephen Knipp was not paid. Stephen Knipp was not paid for his job. So this wasn't a taxpayer thing. It was a thing that here's what the issue is. The thing is, he is controlled by people that we definitely have control over. We definitely have control over elected officials. I asked for Stephen Knipp to step down, and if he wouldn't, I asked for the people that appointed him to remove him, because Stephen Knipp called for others to be killed like Charlie. If you show me where these women are calling for violence, that's maybe a different conversation. But until I see that, I stand behind their gross comments, not because I like them or I agree, but because I don't want anyone to take I don't want anyone to try and shut me down. Listen, I'm going to tell you, I've had this happen. I worked at Bill Gaddis Chrysler. I worked for Steve Gaddis at his dad's car lot for 3 years while I was doing this job. Still, I was doing 2 jobs in one. And I've literally had people call Steve and ask for me to be fired because of comments that I said. And you know what Steve told them? We've got 6 or 7, 8 other salesmen here. If you don't want to deal with Mr. Bilbrey, come in, deal with one of our other ones. And they've said, no, I don't want to, and Steve went on and said, look, if you don't even want him here when you come in, he can take an extra long lunch. He can take the day off. You can come in and deal straight with me. And people would say, no, that's not good enough. And in the end Steve said, there are other car dealerships in Muncie. Flip sand. And I'm thankful that he had my back, or I would have lost that. Some other place would maybe have fired me. And that's insane to me because of my words, because I thought that Missy Williams was a bad elected official, because I questioned Nora Powell. To hell with that. That's not something that we can do. That doesn't fly with me. So that's where hey, someone bring me where these people called for violence, and I will definitely change my tune. All right, you guys, take care. Great debate. Love you all, whether we agree or disagree. Think it's fantastic. This is what it's about, having the debate, being able to agree and disagree. That's what matters. God bless America. God bless each and every one of you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Have a great start to the work week. We will be back here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll let you know what goes on Thursday, and we'll go from there. You guys have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we will see you back here for episode 524, God willing, tomorrow, and we'll go from there. Good night. What's happening? Nothing happened.